Right, good afternoon. We're going to have a chemistry and a cooking lesson today. And we're going to talk about making your own fertilizer and pesticide free from plants that you can actually grow in the garden. So we're going to do pesticide first. So we're going to do rhubarb leaves and elderberry leaves. And then we're going to do some fertilizer. Now the fertilizer is stinging nettles and comfrey. Now all four of these you can grow in your own garden. Certainly rhubarb, comfrey, stinging, I'm sure we've all got stinging nettles.
Rhubarb leaves.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Rhubarb leaves, comfrey, officinalis, elderberry, can be canadensis or could be niger, depending on which part of the world you're in. These are a mix of both.
And we all know these.
And stinging nettles. Now, believe it or not, we have 35 acres here, and we have a real problem finding stinging nettles. So anyway, I've been off on a journey, found them. So we're going to do rhubarb first. Rhubarb. Five leaves is all you need. So these guys, you're just going to, and I'm not taking them into the kitchen to cook. I don't cook. But these we're just going to literally chop them up.
Job I don't do that with your food in the kitchen.
I thought this is how you prepared salads. Give it a good old chop up. So we had 5 average shaped leaves there. You just give it a good chopping up. Right. So once you've chopped it all up, you're going to take it to the kitchen. Yep, not doing that. So you can see what we've got here. Little, nice little parlour. About 12 inches by 12 inches. Take it into the kitchen. Add 5 cups of water to it. Boiling water. And then it needs to go on simmer for about 30 minutes. Once it's simmered, let it cool down. Strain it off. Strain the liquid off. And then add another litre of water to it. Now, the amount of water you add to the concentrate, you're better off going on you're better off overdoing the amount of water you add. So I always said, if you're going to do this, add a litre of water, let everything cool down, and you must use this straight away. Now, this is good for aphids in particular. It's got oxalic acid in it. And it will have some action on the odd caterpillar. But I've found the best thing is aphids. When you put it into your sprayer, add a little bit of dish soap. It just helps. The dish soap helps spread. It's a spreader. It helps spread the water so you don't end up with a lot of droplets. You end up with a fine film of liquid on whatever you're spraying. Spray a plant, but just spray a little piece of it to make sure that it doesn't react badly to it. And you should be doing that whenever you spray anything. You should try a plant or part of a plant first just to make sure that you're not going to get an adverse effect and it kills your plant. Try it and see. If you do, and it doesn't appear to be working very well, you can reduce down the amount of water you add to it. So maybe you could go to 3/4 of a litre, then try it. Put it through your sprayer, which I have. I'm done with the sprayer. Oh, it's there, hiding behind the bucket. I just use one of these things if I don't have a lot. And then just spray it fine mist. But, and here's the big but with this one. Do not spray this rhubarb insecticide onto anything that's edible. It's very, very bitter. So it's okay for a lot of your flowers. And it would be okay for crops that perhaps you're not going to eat for a long time. I'm trying to think maybe cauliflower and cabbage at an early stage. If you've got a little bit of aphid damage on them, I think this would be fine. But as it becomes closer and closer to obviously harvesting it, don't use this. And you could switch to the elderberry leaves. That's the rhubarb one. So here we have the elderberry leaves. This is a mix of canadensis and niger. We have both here growing. We grow them for the fruit more than anything. It's great for making wine. So again, with these guys, you're just going to do exactly the same as you did with the rhubarb. You're going to chop it all up. again, you can see roughly what I have here. It's about 12 inches square again. And it's the same, exactly the same treatment as you did for the rhubarb. So you're going to put this into a saucepan, add 5 cups of water, simmer for about 30 minutes, let it cool down. And the recommended dose for this is 1 in 10. So 1 part of this concentrate to 10 parts water. Again, same as I said with the rhubarb, try it first. Make sure you add a little bit of dish soap as a spreader. That's all, really, that's all the dish soap is for. It's a spreader. And try a small patch of your plants. This, aphids and small caterpillars. It may be, it may not be effective. It depends on your dilution rates and how brave you are and how strong you want to go. But at the end of the day, it's not costing you anything. A little bit of time, it's free. So that's the elderberry. Stinging nettles, fertilizer. I'm sure if you haven't got stinging nettles in your garden, I'm sure it's going to be fairly easy for you to go out and find some. It's high in nitrogen. So if you're looking for a fertilizer and homegrown fertilizer that you can make yourself, stinging nettles is great. It's good early season for growth. One thing that absolutely loves this is if you're growing celery, this is the fertilizer to use. Now, the treatment for this is...
Can I just ask, why celery in particular?
Celery seems to appreciate the type of nitrogen that these things release, and it greens them up. Runny beans, kidney beans are another one that seems to like this as a fertilizer. So I'm not going to chop these up on the bench. I'm going to actually just pop them down the back here. I'm going to chop them up in the bucket. So chop them up. It's about half a bucket. And then you're going to cover them with water. Half, 3/4 fill with water, and then you're going to put to one side for 2-3 weeks in the shade. You don't want to be cooking it in the sun. You might want to put a stone on the top just to weight all the foliage down.
And sorry, the size of that bucket?
Oh, the size of the bucket I said was 5 gallon, 18.9 litres.
Okay, thank you. And that's half full, and you fill it with water up to the top of the
half,
nettles.
3/4 full of water.
To cover the nettles?
To cover the nettles, yes. Yeah, which will then give you your concentrate. So once you've left it for as long as you want to, 2, 3, 4, you can leave it for longer if you want. The longer you leave it, the stronger it'll get. It's great for anything growing vigorously. So celery in particular likes it. Runner beans at the early stage, when they're growing rapidly, will enjoy it. Courgettes, marrows, even cucumbers, melons indoors would really appreciate it. It's quite high in nitrogen.
So this is just before any flowers or any fruits. So
yeah,
when you're
trying to get some rapid growth out of something.
Okay.
But try it first. Try it on a couple of plants. Once you've got the concentrate, I would suggest probably going 10 ml in 2 gallons of water. And you could use that every watering if you want. That's entirely up to you. But again, keep an eye on your plants. If you're not sure whether it's going to work or not, try half your plants with it and half your plants without it. And just see if there's any difference. And that way, you'll see for yourself whether there's any benefit of using it. But at the end of the day, it's not costing you nothing. It's free. It's from the garden. And we've all got stinging nettles. My favorite fertilizer, Comfrey. Absolutely fantastic for anything that's fruiting and flowering. So it's high in potassium. There's 2 downsides to Comfrey. Number 1 being the absolute horrible smell. And number 2 is do not touch the concentrate with your bare hands, because you will not get it off. We're in first week of July. You'll still try to be scrubbing things off at Christmas if you get it on your hands.
Is that the smell or colouring?
Both.
Do you know the smell? Please put this somewhere way away from your house.
I always say to people, if you've got some neighbours that you don't get on very well with and they're being a real pain,
Gary,
you put your Comfrey barrel right next to the fence. You never know, they might move. Anyway. Yes, you can. Of course you can. It's a bit of fun. I've taken off, some of these had flower heads on them. So I've taken all the flower heads off, I think. there's a couple of varieties in there. There's straight Comfrey officinalis, which unfortunately is the one that does seed, so be careful. We have several patches. We did have one patch. We have several patches now, but we do use a lot of this. So that's actually a bucket full. I scrammed all this into a bucket. So I'm just going to give this a little bit of a chop. I'm not going to go crazy with it. So that's chopped up a little bit. That's chopped up sufficient, actually. So now we're going to stuff it all in my bucket here. So that's a good bucket full. So what I'm going to do with that now is I will fill that right to the very, very top with water.
And it doesn't have to be hot water, does it?
No, just straight cold water. And then I'm going to find a stone, a rock or whatever, and just put a weight on it because it will try and keep forcing up out of the bucket. And then I'm going to put this somewhere out of the way and put a lid on it. So just a piece of board, or if you've got the original lid, fine. But put it out of the way, away from everything and in the shade. 2 to 3 weeks is what it needs. Longer the better. The longer you leave it, the stronger it's going to be. And as I say, when you take the lid off for the first time, stand back because it stinks.
It really does.
It does really stink. And as I say, make sure you're wearing rubber gloves or just don't touch the liquid. Then you're going to strain it. You're going to get all the leaves and all the crap out. And then what I do from there, is I use one of these 50-gallon drums. And I'll put all the concentrate into here. But I know from past experience so 5 gallons, 18.9 litres, will make me 50 gallons just under of feed.
So that's not the concentrate.
No, that's it, ready to put on.
Right.
So then what I do is I go through that. And then once I get to about maybe halfway down, I'll go and get another bucket full of Comfrey and start another bucket full off.
And again, how long do you leave it in the bucket?
Again, it's in the bucket for 2 to 3 weeks. Okay. And I just repeat the process. So in a couple of weeks' time, I will have Comfrey fertilizer, and I will have that now for the rest of the season. Now, I think you're looking at about 1 in 10, again, for concentrate to water, if you're not doing it this way. And anything that's fruiting and flowering will benefit 100% from this. Now, if you're doing it in the greenhouse, it does make the greenhouse smell a little bit strange, obviously, because the actual Comfrey liquid is a nasty smell. But do you know what? The plants absolutely love it, and it's worth it to see the benefit that the plants will get. And
the ultimate bonus is it doesn't cost you
exactly
money.
All of these things I've showed you now, the rhubarb, the elderberry, the stinging nettles, and the Comfrey, won't cost you a thing. It's proven to actually work. There's none of these new gimmicks of throwing milk and throwing all this food crap onto plants to try and make them grow. This works. This is old-fashioned gardening. So I would suggest get your Comfrey going first. Then look at doing your insecticides. But the word of warning is always going to be try an odd plant first, whether you're doing fertilizer, whether you're doing pesticide, and even if it's the stuff you buy from the stores, always test it on a plant first before you go and spray everything. So we're going to just have a quick walk into the polytunnel just to give you a quick update on the tomatoes, cucumbers and melons. We're not going to be in there for very long because it's pretty hot today again.
I'm standing in the sun and it is really hot.
Yeah.
Can I press pause now?
Yes. So it's 35.7 at the moment in here. I have the shade on half of the polytunnel. We have 2 fans going. I have one fan high up, and then there's another fan much lower behind Julie there, trying to bring in some cool air. So we have our beefsteaks. I've not removed any leaves. I've not removed any flowers.
Oh, a little bit of support.
No, a couple of these are getting really heavy already, so you just put a little bit of string on around the end of the truss and then tie it back to the stem and the cane. and it just helps them along. Now you could thin these out, but I don't think we want tomatoes the size of footballs. We just want something nice and tasty. So we have our beefsteaks on this side. On this side, we have our plums. They are looking absolutely fantastic. Yeah, this is our one money maker. This is a really old-fashioned variety. A little bit of leaf curl. The leaf curl is just stress. It's heat stress. Then we move up to our melons, and as you can see, they are doing rather well. They're getting up there. I haven't tied them in this morning. It got too hot in here too quick, so I just didn't get round to it. And then obviously with the fan and everything going, you can see there's a little bit of movement, but we have got some really nice melons coming on here.
Oh, this is the terracotta pot.
That's the terracotta pot, yeah. And then we move on up through. Now these guys are being watered almost 3 times a day. And then we have the cucumbers, and I mean there's a nice cucumber on there.
Oh, he's ready for picking.
Yeah, another one here. We've got 3 coming on here. And again, no, I've not removed any leaves. I've not removed any flowers. We'll just let them grow. And then on the floor here, we have our peppers. I'm going to pick one up. It'll be easier to show Julie.
Thank you.
There, you can see the peppers. This is a variety called Lunchbox Mix. Now, I see so many posts, I see so many questions about peppers and when to pinch and when not to pinch and what to pinch. These have been pinched once, and they were pinched, and I'm going to show Julie. Here are some small ones. That is the stage I pinch my peppers at. I pinch 1 pinch there. I don't count leaves. I just wait till I see a bit of nice vigorous growth, then I pinch it. You can see how it's breaking out, all the side shoots. No leaves have been removed. That will be left to grow, and they will end up looking like these guys. I'm probably picking 6 to 8 peppers. This is a nice orange one here. I'll pick it up again because it's easier to see. You can see those, how healthy everything is.
Nice.
The little bit of discoloring you can see on the leaves is actually liquid fertilizer that they've just started getting. And then we have our early tomatoes. These are golden cherry, and this is the ones that were started Boxing Day. So they're getting up there, they're fruiting. Again, one or two of the lower leaves are now missing just because I've cut them off. Well, actually I broke them off when I repotted. And I'm still taking out side shoots. Once they hit to the top of the tunnel, I should take tip out. But very yeah,
nice. And they taste amazing.
They're a really good tasting
very
one.
Sweet,
yes.
Yeah.
And then on our raised bed, we have these new ones that we're trying. These are currant tomatoes and another one called Hundreds and Thousands. This is the Hundreds and Thousands. These two at this side, you can see they're kind of a weeping variety. So they're just coming on now, setting some fruit.
Because we've had the Hundreds and Thousands in planters before,
yeah,
haven't we?
But that little one now that Julie's looking at now, that's the currant type. And as you can see, they are quite tiny, yeah. And hopefully they'll start ripening up soon.
Lots of flower. But
everything in here is dealing with the heat pretty well. I damp down 2-3 times a day. Now, when I say I damp down, I just get a watering can, fill it with water, and then just flood the floor. And I'll start at one end of the tunnel where Willow is, and you can see the floor is still damp there, and then I'll come right up through and I'll just damp down. By damping down, you're actually adding humidity, which decreases the temperature. And you can actually sometimes see the temperature gauge drop by 2 or 3 degrees. But I'm doing that 2, 3, 4 times a day. And it does help. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty warm in here today.
It really is.
Yeah. But melons, you can see the air movement there on the from the fans. So that does help. We don't get any mildews. We don't get any mold on any of the leaves. No sprays. And these are now getting to the stage where 10 days, 2 weeks time, I'll start giving them some Comfrey. But yeah, I think that's about it for today. So please like and subscribe, and catch up with us next week. Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye-bye.